What's up, guys? My name is Nick and this is my first YouTube video, so don't judge me on my editing skills and whatever you want to call it. But anyway, this is going to be a restoration slash performance video on a recent purchase of a 2006 Seadoo Sportster 150. Long story short, I bought it from someone that bought it as a project. He was doing a boil out procedure and the timing chain snapped on him. So guys, what I plan on doing to this boat is going to be pretty much a complete restoration of the actual hull and then jumping into the engine, which wasn't touched by me yet. This is just how I got it. Timing chain snapped, there is rust, you know, so hoping that the bores are actually looking good. But you know, I'll show you guys that in a pretty much in this video. So guys, the plan for this boat is going to be pretty much renovate or completely redoing the engine, obviously, and then we're going to be putting on an X charger along with possibly a callus cam, some performance mods, and I'll show you guys how I do it and what I think might work for this boat. But there's really no way to tell until we actually give it a shot. So guys, hope you guys enjoy this video, but here we go. All right guys, so we're gonna start disassembling this jet pump and we'll see. First things first, handy dandy 13. This is probably going to be seized on there if I had to guess, so let's find out.
So what we're going to do, we're going to try this.
So as of that, probably use a bushing, but might be able to clean it up. Let's find out. This is what we got left. So here's the thing, when it comes to any of the jet boats, the issue is these Allen keys get corroded and they get stuck and you're fighting them. What I like to do is when we are replacing these, I like to put a hex bolt on them. It's just a lot easier to get off in the future. I mean, this obviously was salt water. Now, whether it was on a sport port, I don't know, but we're gonna finish this completely with new, as long as I don't have to break it, which sometimes I do. Now, I could get away with just undoing the hex bolts in the back, you know, to just remove the whole pump. But guys, I want to do this correctly. I want to get this off. So let's take a look and see how well they move. Let's give it a shot. First things first, we're gonna try to work this, but I don't think it's gonna, maybe. So sometimes what happens is these heads snap. So I'm just gonna go slow. So that one's actually moving. This top one, sometimes it pays to go forward. Nope, that one's bad. Okay, how about the bottom? I'm just gonna go real slow with it. Okay, so the two bottom ones, guys, are good. I'm kind of surprised. Take it slow, boys. Take it slow. Take it slow. Okay, so that one's gonna come right out. The other one's gonna come right out. Let's try this one. Guys, we're looking pretty good. Except for one there's always one where it's either gonna make it or break it. We're slightly moving. That's gonna break. Okay. So guys, let's get the 3 that I know I can get. I don't think the ratchet's gonna be able to take care of the torque on these, and I don't want to use an impact. Yeah, she's on there. So, just so you guys can see, when it comes to the actual reverse gate bracket, so the problem is this stainless actually pretty much welds itself to the aluminum of the bracket. Two metals just that don't mix, especially in salt water. So you can just see, I mean, that pretty much expands chemistry. So we're gonna put that to the side. We're not gonna reuse that. And we're gonna just keep going. Three down. One lonely barnacle to go. Guys, a little hesitant. Like it moves, but I think we're gonna have to do a little heat cycle on that. Let's grab it going. Round two. You do not want to move. Oh, we broke it. Exactly what I mean. Almost had it, and then she stripped. So I'm gonna get this out and see how it goes. So another day, we just got the bolt off after a little bit of drilling, but now that we see in the pump, what is that? That doesn't look too good. Don't know what that is, but all in all, not too bad. So we'll get this thing taken apart and let's go from there. Now that the pump is disassembled for the most part, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get inside here and we're going to start pretty much getting everything off the back end. I still have the pump bolted up, and the reason why is when we get to the carbon seal, you know, that's going to put pressure on it, and that pump will hold it in place so we can at least release that ring. Hopefully it's not too rusted, but it wouldn't surprise me in this boat. So we're going to get our charge pipe off. Nice and free. Looks pretty clean. Next, we're gonna get our intake off, our supercharger. And sorry guys for the angles and everything else, but just trying to give you guys a general idea. Nice. Very nice. Woo! All right. So looking inside, I mean, it's not too bad. But now we got to see if we can break it. Are back in the boat. So guys, what I wound up doing was removing the supercharger just to get out of the way, along with the exhaust. Once again, I have not been down here, but it's always nice when you find tools. We are going to take a look at this and see if we can get this pushed back, hopefully to free up this. If not, gonna have to cut this off along with the boot and replace this whole piece, but let's give it a shot. Next step, we're gonna get these 4 pump bolts out, and you could ignore this piece. We'll get that out with vice grips later. But once we get those out, guys, should be in pretty good shape. So it is a 17. Gotta love salt water. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a positive sign. Going to be rebuilding or replacing this pump anyway. Minus the corrosion, it's not in bad shape. The bearing actually sounds good, but do want to get this replaced. I don't see. One thing I do see, guys, the seal on the outside of the pump is cracking, so that's going to cause some cavitation issues. You can see right there. So we're going to replace the seal, but I think we're going with a 161. So this is what we have at the back. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our drive shaft tool and pop this in. Now we'll go inside the boat. Jumped ahead a little bit and did have to cut the carbon seal. I did get the C-clip out, so we should be ready to go. Ignore my makeshift. But guys, now we're gonna just remove this drive shaft and we're almost there. What is it?
Wood.
Sorry it took so long and I keep jumping around. So finally got the drive shaft out, and this, that's not so good. No. Definitely pitted, you could see. I mean, that is a massive groove. I didn't hit it with the cutting wheel, but the drive shaft is pretty much trashed, guys. So we're gonna jump along and see. So as of right now, next step, we are going to disassemble and take off all these electrical connections. We're going to disconnect all the hoses, get everything pulled out and put to the side, and should be able to get this engine out pretty quick. Out. Next thing you're going to do is you're literally just going to slowly pull those out, and that's your fuel. Next we'll undo our coolant hose, get that out of the way. And guys, for these O-Tiger clamps, I usually just grab a pair of dikes, give them a nice cut. And pretty much what you're going to wind up doing is you're going to replace that with a regular hose clamp later. So that pretty much wraps up everything. Just have to get the coolant hoses off, get the exhaust. Exhaust is done. Pretty much just the coolant hoses, the bolts for the motor mounts, and also the intake manifold. That will pretty much eliminate any issues that we're going to run into in terms of pulling this out. But let's jump into it. Another day, we're going to get this engine out. Everything's already disconnected, so it should come right out. Let's go. Nice. All right, guys. So we're gonna get this thing on the engine stand and go from there. Got the engine out, and it is terrible. For starters, we got some chocolate milk, and that does not look good, guys. Yeah, that oil cooler. It's probably why there was so much water in this thing. But we're gonna start disassembling this block, bottom end, and we'll see how this goes. Moment of truth. Let's pop her off. If it comes off. Let's see what we got. Not bad. Not bad. Found it. Yeah, so the crank actually Alright guys, so what we see, the crank definitely has to be polished. It is catching my fingernail, so what we're gonna do, guys, this is gonna get machined anyway. The counterbalance, on the other hand, that might actually be bad too. Yeah, so you could see, guys, I mean, it burnt up a little bit. You know, so I don't even think I would. I don't know. We'll see what a machine shop says. We'll see how far they can polish this. It might still be within spec, but I mean, other than that, it's actually not in bad shape. So polish the counterbalance, polish the crank, and we will go from there. Disgusting. So guys, the rockers don't look too see that? That's junk, trash. And ouch. That is nasty. Disgusting. The cam, surprisingly, maybe. Cam might be okay. So let's get our locking pin out. Let's get this cam out. Come on. Might be able to be fixed, guys. Might be able to be polished. I mean, obviously had rust in it. But we're gonna send this off to the miracle worker at Eastside Power Sports and see if he could salvage it. If not, well, good thing I got another cam. Ew. Moment of truth. Probably pure disgust. That's definitely seen better days. Wow. Oof. Guys, that is trash. Nice. Piston skirts got kind of hit. That's all rusted. That's rust. That's rust. I mean, the cylinders are stained, but they're actually not that bad. So they are stained a little bit, but they're not scored really. After going through everything on this engine, let's see what we can't probably use. Well, I bought this engine with a SBT supercharger kit, so can't use the supercharger, at least not that kit. We can use a starter. We might be able to get away with using these, but I'll probably replace them anyway just to keep it from leaking. The cam gear is a disaster. The chain guides, I mean, I get new ones of those anyway. All the bolts, I do have a bolt kit for this. Pistons are shot for the most part. Obviously the bolts. The cam itself maybe will be okay. Starter Bendix, that should be fine. The flywheel's fine. The magneto's fine. But the crank is bad. So guys, if you can see anywhere on this crank, anyway, this timing chain gear is cracked. The counterbalance shaft is good. It does need a polish. The case, I want to say, is good. For someone that could bore this and clean this out, I mean, this is pretty bad. There is a lot of corrosion in this thing, but I think can get away with just a cylinder hone and pretty much just cleaning out this block entirely. You know, giving it to a machine shop, let them do everything they'd have to do to get this block in good shape. The bottom end is good. The PTO is also good, but guys, I have a part ski outside. I was going to replace this oil mister to the oil squirter version for the 08 and up. So I'm just going to take that PTO and put it in this boat. The oil cooler's trashed. The oil pump is maybe. We'll look into that later. Thermostat's good. Exhaust manifold's good. The cylinder head is pretty trashed as well. Might be able to be pretty much decked, and I'm sure there's a miracle that could be done with this thing. So this probably will be a spare head, but all the valve seats and everything else are pretty much shot. You could see the rust and everything else. So with that being said, guys, this is the video for the disassembly. The next video will probably be just restoring this boat itself, and we'll jump into that engine work. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned.